The Fringe Podcast, Season 5, Episode 17. Feedback for the Humankind.
Hi, my name is Josh Jackson. You're listening to the Fringe Podcast.
Support for the Fringe Podcast is provided by listeners like you and by this week's sponsor, Global Cash Card. Learn how Global Cash Card provides world-class solutions for pay cards, gift cards, per diem cards, flex cards, and more by visiting thefringepodcast.com/Global Cash Card today. Welcome back to the Fringe Podcast, a podcast dedicated to the Fox television show.
Yeah, it's Chris Matthews Hardball.
I'm familiar with this show. I can't say I've ever watched it though, or did ever watch it.
I don't even know. Yeah, I don't even know what it was about.
It was a political show.
No, that's Chris Matthews Hardball, right?
That's what I thought you meant.
That is Chris Matthews Hardball, but he's on MSNBC.
Oh, okay.
It's not on Fox.
I thought they were one and the same.
Let me look it up.
Okay, so this Hardball here is not the Chris Matthews.
I hope not. Hardball, Fox show.
Yeah.
TV series, 1994 to Dash. Like it never really ended.
Huh.
Oh, it had Bruce Greenwood in it. And Mike Starr with 2 R's.
I don't know who either of those are.
You know who Bruce Greenwood is.
Do I?
Uh-huh. Where's the plot summary?
I don't know. Are you on Wikipedia?
Yeah. No, I'm on IMDb. It's a sports comedy. Maybe it was a baseball show.
Okay.
But, yeah, Bruce Greenwood was Captain Kirk's... No, not Captain Kirk's dad. The guy that recruited Captain Kirk in the new Star Trek movie.
Oh, okay.
Who's also in iRobot.
Okay.
Deja Vu. 13 Days.
All right, now I know who you're talking about.
Bruce Greenwood. Brucey.
He's his brother is Lee, right?
Sprucey Brucey.
Okay. Well, anyway, we are here taking your feedback that you sent in to us for the most recent Fringe episode entitled "The Humankind," and we're going to get things kicked off today by reading your wonderful, wonderful Bunsen burners.
That's
Clint,
right.
Would you like to go first?
I would love to start. I'm going to start with Zeppelin Driver, who gave it 8.5. Is there anything that a magic bullet can't do? It seems like they should take that bullet, put it into a made-for-TV blender, and then sell it as a magical product that can blend crazy amounts of food.
Yeah. Perhaps.
Don't steal that idea. I gave it to you. Okay?
I'll try not to steal that wonderful idea that you just gave me. Yes. Expendable Gerbil gave it 7.5 creepy paces.
Charlie from Virginia gave it 10 out of 10 because love conquers logic.
Conquers.
Oh.
Conquers. Security Nerdette gave it 9.5. Emotion is our strength.
Laura H.T. Dot gave it 8. Impetuous. See? Is that right?
I think it is.
No, that's not right.
Impotent.
Impetuous cerebral cortex. A fan. Observer tech implants.
Okay.
That's a tongue twister.
Yeah. Hydra Island gave it 7. Yoda parlor tricks.
Dirac 6955 gave it 9. Paths not taken.
A Fleet Alex gave it 8.5. Ever resourceful Olivia's.
Vilma 13 gave it 10. Liv meets the Oracle.
Foxy Fringe Chick gave it 8.5. Crazy Peter Eyes.
Straight Leap, spelled with a bunch of numbers, gave it 10. The Power of Love saved Peter.
Jenny from Ohio gave it... I can't believe you didn't sing that.
I know. I knew you were going to say that.
8.0. Hopes for a happy ending restored. See, I felt the same way, Jenny. Good.
Me too.
We're on the same
Me too.
page. I don't care about what you think.
Well, thanks, Daryl.
Jenny and I were having a moment. There was no need for you to butt in there.
Third wheel. The Unibeefer gave it 8.5 spilled coffee cups. I think it was actually tea.
It had the little tea bag dangly thing. You
Yes.
like that?
Yeah.
The little tea bag dangly thing.
Are you a tea bagger? Aren't you part of the Tea Party
I am
politically?
neither of those, Clint.
Tea bagger? Okay.
Definitely not a Tea Party person.
Okay.
Yogabon.
Are you serious?
I'm serious.
Okay. That's interesting.
I'm conservative, but not that conservative.
Wow.
Yogabon gave it 8 brain bridges overriding emotion.
New Dana gave it 9.5. Now that's what I call some great callbacks.
Melchizedek gave it 6.5 Krang origin stories.
Sci-Fi Fan 30 gave it 8 MacGyver impersonating Olivia's.
That's fun.
Mm-hmm.
NYC Fringe Math Geek gave it 6.75. Not sure if I'm liking this season.
There was even a Math Geek comment made in this episode. How could you not like this episode?
I don't know. Ask Naya.
Scaper gave it 7.5 electromagnets.
Little Fringy gave it 9 beautiful rooftop scenes.
Bad Wobot gave it 8.5 Polivia feelings. Nothing more than feelings.
It took me a minute to see what you just did there. Are you seriously going to skip that?
Feelings, nothing more than
You skipped one. You realize
feelings. Of course I realize it.
that. I'm going to skip it too.
What? Okay.
All right. I'll do it, Clint.
No, I'll do it.
All right.
I'll do it.
Well, they're
Go
asking
ahead.
you to do it.
Go
All
ahead.
right.
Do another one. I'll do one after this
The
one.
ozone layer gave it 7.5 non-sterile cuts to the neck to remove the tech.
Boston Red Vines gave it 9.16. Gotta have faith, faith, faith. I gotta have faith, faith, faith. Baby,
See,
I know not everybody has got a crazy body. Touch your body like mine.
Okay.
There you go. How do you like that for wrong words?
That was good.
I was scared that Broccoli Rob was going to steal my song
Uh-huh.
for all you Office fans out there.
I don't know who that is.
Okay.
My wife would. She watches The Office. Red Eagle gave it 9, repeating to hit the button for the elevator even though you're an observer and you know it's not going to work.
That's like 78 on my list of inconsistencies. I like it. Thank you so much.
Red Eagle.
Thank you, Red Eagle. Boston Red Vine's husband gave it 9.2 out of 10 man purses.
That guy was wearing a little bit of a man purse. The guy that knocked the cup over?
Yeah. What's wrong with that?
Nothing if you're
I
into
have
that.
Look,
My messenger bag has been referred to as a man purse.
this is my Merce
Mm-hmm.
right here. It holds my laptop and my iPad.
Yeah.
It's awesome.
Yep.
It's actually a satchel. Indiana Jones carries one.
Satchel. He does carry one. No One's Minion gave it 8.5. Bullets working overtime.
Linda's Lost gave it 9.5. If you can't beat them, join them.
You know, it was until that moment that I had forgotten that awkward silence is your shtick.
Yeah.
Joe Spiv gave it 7.
You know I didn't even finish.
Well, okay. Go ahead. Finish.
No.
Okay.
No. Linda's Lost gave it 9.9. If you can't beat them, join them. If you can't join them, beat them.
Joe Spiv gave it 7. I love you, Peter. I could have said this to you 4 episodes ago and stopped this then, but I didn't, so yeah. Oh well. Lesson learned.
My bad. Oops.
Oh, man.
Alabama Fringe gave it 7.9. Fringe had better make the season count.
Chantal, New York, gave it 8. Thank goodness Peter didn't lose his hair.
Really dodged a bullet there.
Mm-hmm.
Pardon the pun. Amberetta gave it 9. I can see dead Ettas. I see dead Ettas.
Ebony Jet 7 gave it 9.75 recycled, reused brain bullets.
That poor
That bullet, man.
bullet has seen a lot of gray matter.
It has, hasn't it? Yeah.
Alternacat gave it 9 squeamish self-surgeries.
Yeah, that's pretty gross. Fringe File gave it 10 rooftop romance fringe style.
Surgery in the rain, just cutting into my brainstem in the rain. Janice LG gave it 7. Olivia fighting for her mans. Fight for your man. Let him know he's not an observer.
Which one did you just do? You skipped like 2.
I did.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Okay. Well, I'm going to definitely let you do.
That. I skipped 3, didn't I?
Yeah, you did.
Yeah.
That one I just highlighted, I'm leaving for you.
Okay.
Fringe Peaks gave it 8.875 big watermelon magnets.
Wow. That's true.
Yeah.
Hildalda gave it 7. I'm going to cut that tech right out of my head. Send it on its way.
Highway 61 gave it 9.87 beautiful balcony scenes.
Little Hill with the Elsa's ones, except for the first one, which is capitalized. Gave it 8.0 eastbound and down. Liv was loaded up and trucking.
I love it.
Convoy.
Yeah, exactly. Hot Sauce gave it 5. Wow. Pinkner used the tech, saw the future for season 5, and decided to jump ship as he saw it was sinking.
Ooh.
Wow, Hot Sauce.
Burn.
That is hot. Burn.
Man, yeah, that hot sauce burned on the way out. Woo! Trish Cape Cod gave it 8 ways to play with brains by the Bishops.
Tangier 14 gave it 9 brain bridging bullet saving love conquers all soul magnets. Thank you, Tangier.
Sorry, I had to take my headphones off. I saw it coming. I'm in Wiss. Gave it 9 monster magnets out of 10. Do the monster magnet.
Random Etta poster of Pi gave it 5.8751260. Simone says somehow Etta is the bullet that resaved the world again.
That's right. Monarch gave it 9 removable implantable techs.
David Wu gave it 10 pounds added to Dave Grohl equals Carlos.
Did look a lot like Dave Grohl, didn't it?
I'm not sure.
The question was, though, was he giving the best?
Probably.
When Olivia walked by, did he say, "There goes my hero"?
I don't think so.
You know, he had been there a long time. He waited ever long.
21 years, apparently.
Yeah, he had to go get his monkey wrench to help fix the truck.
I'm not getting any of these.
Come on! Dave Grohl, lead singer of the Foo Fighter.
No.
Oh, come
I'm not
on,
a big
Daryl.
Foo Fighters fan, obviously. Yeah. Sorry, man. Are you disappointed in me?
A little bit.
Okay.
Are we
We're
back?
We're live and then not live, live and not live. So I'm just going to leave it on.
Okay.
It's definitely a Ustream issue.
Sounds good. Momentum. Is it my turn? No,
Yes.
It's my turn. Yeah. Momentum deferred gave it 9.5 tier 1 skid marks.
I remember that one time. Never mind. Kenny C gave it.
Don't go there.
9.9. How in the world did Olivia get from Fitchburg to New York City so fast?
Thank you.
Clint, you want to answer that one?
Yeah. They've got... The rebels have found a teleporter machine that they use constantly.
There you go.
Yes.
There you go.
Well, can we get that? Can we get just a nod to that? Anyways. Lost to Fringe gave it 9.7 pleading Olivia's.
Galt, who goes there, gave it 6 glasses full of dangerous dihydrogen monoxide. It must have been from Tijuana.
Ooh.
That's great.
Adge in Nashville gave it 9.5 pneumatically assisted exit wounds.
Nice. The Man Unk. Am I reading that right?
Yeah.
8.
Manunk.
The Manunk gave it 8 porcupine brains. And finally,
My Name is Earl gave it 10 A funny thing happened on the way from picking up a giant magnet and a flatbed.
That's a good one. I'm glad that was our last one. That
Me
was
too.
Good. You know, we didn't talk about in the last episode about the Blade Runner-esque feel of that final scene between Olivia and Peter. And what I mean by that, I mean, you obviously had the rain in that last scene in Blade Runner.
I can't stand the rain.
You know, where they're on the rooftop in the rain. I'm just moving forward here. And they're at the rooftop and it's raining. But you have that conversation between Duggart, who is human, although there's some debate on whether or not he was human or a replicant.
Deckard.
I'm sorry, thank you, Deckard. And the Rutger Hauer character, whose name is
Android
me as well,
Android 6.
who is clearly a replicant. But there's that human emotion, you know, that whole conversation going on between them. And now you have this conversation between Olivia, who's obviously human, no debate there, and Peter, who's losing his humanity, you know, and there's that redemption that's happening there. So anyway, another example of kind of a Blade Runner feel to this season.
Yeah, I mean, he's really kind of sitting in the corner there in the spotlight, losing his religion.
Uh-huh.
I didn't know if he could do it.
I do get that reference, by the way.
Okay.
Let's move on to fan feedback, and maybe Clint will throw out some more, you know, song references that I'll get, but more than likely he'll throw some out that I won't get. All right, we gave you a little preview in the last podcast.
That's right.
we
Accidentally.
thought it was quote of the week, but I hit the wrong. I might have hit the wrong button. And
You did that on purpose. It was just to
given you a
give people,
preview.
people to tune into this episode.
That's right. It's very clever subliminal marketing on
Slick.
my part. That's
Slick.
right. That's right. You thought it was a mistake, but it's. I don't make any of those. It's crazy talk. Anyway, here's Chip.
Chip calling from sunny Pine Knoll Shores, North Carolina. Whoa. 3 weeks off, and I am completely blown away. Got a little misty-eyed at the end. Just 4 quick scene check-ins here that I just thought were amazing. Walter almost begging Peter to come back to him. Peter's impassioned leaving. Simone with Olivia and letting her know that Etta is still with her and encouraging her even though Olivia wants to be dispassionate and rational. And then Etta kind of saved Olivia with the bullet. That was just great seeing Olivia back to her tough self. I love that. And then, of course, the end. Wow, Olivia brings Peter back. Oh, man, that was just riveting. So, as Mrs. Kennewolf, Sarah, likes to say, we speculate and talk, and we've got ideas and theories about what's going to happen, but the writers continue to surprise us, and this one was in a very pleasant way. And in the words of another podcaster out there, we need to just sit back, relax, and enjoy the show. Thanks to Jay for that. And, things are actually a little brighter this time. Dare I hope that we might still get a happy ending? See you later, guys.
I agree. He's usually the last one to put in for the tweet for the twinge question.
Uh-huh.
I've been calling him Cinewolf this whole time.
I have too. It's Kennewolf, apparently.
Kennewolf.
Yeah.
Thanks, Chip.
Yeah.
Yeah.
I don't know that I
feel like
realized Chip and Kennewolf were the same person until this moment.
That's cool.
Yeah.
Unless he's just knows Kennewolf's wife,
Well, let's not start that rumor.
which could be awkward.
Yeah.
Yeah, I agree, though. I think that we got our hope back that there could be a happy ending after this week.
I definitely did.
I didn't see any hope before that.
Yeah. He also mentioned that how did he word it here? I wrote it down. Olivia back to her tough self. There has been quite a bit of criticism this season about the back seat that Olivia has taken and, not her normal, BA self that we have seen, 4 seasons running.
Baracus, yeah.
Do you agree with that? And did this episode kind of redeem some of that, or do you still want more out of that? Do you feel slighted by what we've gotten out of her?
No, the season for sure. She's been largely a one-dimensional character this season.
Okay.
I don't know any other way to say it. Do you?
Well, I think just a different character. We haven't seen her as being as much of a tough gal as we have seen in the past, but she's been more emotional this season. Although we've seen moments of emotion out of her, even from the pilot. After John Scott died, she sat there on the bed of that ambulance just weeping.
Yeah, but it hasn't been very detailed. That's what I'll say.
Okay.
It's been pretty one-dimensional. A grieving mother, right? That's it. That's really all we've gotten out of her this season.
Yeah.
So it was good to see her back.
Yeah, I thought this episode was much better.
Yep.
I mean, not only the escape scene, but the way that the conversation she had with Peter and what she did to get him back, and the words that she said. I thought it was good.
Yep.
But is it still the same Olivia that we've seen in seasons past?
No,
Not yet.
Not yet.
No.
I think we want more.
Yeah.
But we got 5 episodes left, so.
That's right. And now that if Peter is back, maybe we'll see more of that.
Expectations.
The battle has to begin at some point, right? With the fight for Earth. It has to begin at some point, and then when that does, hopefully she'll be a part of kicking some observer tail.
I hope so. I hope that the battle for Earth actually happens.
Yeah.
They could pull a Lost and then get us all the way to the end of the episode and then
pull a cork and it just flushes down the toilet.
Yeah, the whole show.
All right. Well, thank you, Chip, for calling in. We appreciate it. Let's move on to Corey in Australia.
Hey, Clint. Hey, Daryl. It's Corey from Australia with some feedback for the new episode of Fringe. I've just finished the episode and I've got thoughts in my head and I've just got to get them out. I know that you guys have always said that at its core, this show is a love story, and I don't think that's more true than ever after tonight. We've had our appetizer of, what would you do for love? We've had our main course of the will they, won't they fall in love with Peter and Olivia, and now we're getting our love conquers all for dessert. It's just absolutely wonderful writing. I'm loving the direction the show's going. We also got to meet a woman named Simone tonight, and this has helped me develop a bit of a theory that I've got rattling around in my head. She said that she was the daughter of the woman that Walter left the magnet with. She also has abilities. Now, if you think back, Belly and Walter always said that the cortexiphan children would be the saviors, the protectors. I think that Walter is leaving these items for them together with the cortexiphan kids, well, the grown-up cortexiphan kids. And this woman, Simone, is a testament to the abilities that the children of cortexiphan kids can have. This may hold hope for Etta's return. Who knows? But it's something worth keeping in mind. I also love the location that they shot at, where the magnet was being kept. I'm a film student myself, so I just absolutely geek out over wonderful practical locations. I mean, the place had so much character, the greens and the griminess of it. I don't know, there's something about that location that just really struck a chord with me. I just thought it was absolutely perfect. And also the casting, the actor who played Simone, brilliant performance. Anyway, that's me. So I'll let you guys get back to it, and cheers.
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 Is his voice drop dead sexy or what?
I can't comment on that. I'm a married man.
Oh, sorry.
Yeah. I like the location as well. I thought it was a really cool location. It resonated well with me. It kind of felt like a, outpost on the edge of society where they're kind of burning the, keeping the torch lit or whatever.
Yeah, sure. And this whole season has felt dirty and gritty like I think it should. They've done a really good job, I think, of making this feel like, the observers are trashing the planet, and I think they've done a good job of making us feel like that has already happened to a large degree.
Yeah.
And then he threw out the idea that perhaps Simone was the daughter of a cortexiphan subject. What do you think about that?
I like it. I don't know who it would have been, but I like the idea.
Yeah, I mean, I don't know that we would necessarily need to know who it was. The parent, that is.
Yeah.
I think it's definitely plausible. I don't know that we'll ever find out the answer to that, but I certainly like the idea that the mother would have been a cortexiphan child. And he mentioned that the cortexiphan children were made to be the protectors, right?
Right.
So here they are protecting this magnet, and so there's, that adds some level of intrigue to it, I think.
Yeah. Children of the Magnet. Sounds like a horror movie.
It does. Children of the Corn. That's better.
Yeah, but why would they need corn for their machine?
Well, they're making some nice alcohol.
Maybe it runs on ethanol.
Maybe it does.
All right, what else we got?
All right. Thank you, Corey, for sending that in. Any other comments on him?
Nope. Thanks,
right.
Corey.
Let's move on to Eileen.
Hey, Clinton Darrell. This is Eileen from New York City. Checking out your new speak pipe doohickey on the side of the screen there. It's pretty cool, I have to say. Panicking. Only a few episodes left, but anyway, I'm calling in with feedback for the last episode, and it was a great episode. I loved it. I'm a shipper, so the ending of that episode was just awesome for me. But I'm going to start at the beginning. I love the "You Are Here" little love note that Peter left for Windmark on the glass marker board. Really great. And I don't know, leaving Olivia like a tier 1 reward wire fugitive, the equivalent of FBI's most wanted, in a room full of gadgets. Probably not the brightest idea in the world, but I did love that she used the bullet. And then at the end gave the bullet to Peter. That was just, so sweet. So I'm glad he's back. I'm glad he pulled the Observer Tech out of his brain. I really enjoyed watching Walter and Astrid explain how with the model, the brain, how the tech was changing the brain and taking over the emotion part of the brain. That was really cool, And the last thing I want to say is at the end of the episode when he's remembering what it was like. I know we have talked about the blanket, the color of the blanket. I haven't heard that talked about lately, but it was red. Okay, which I guess because Peter's from the Red verse, so when they're, in the park right before the invaders came, that's his memory. I did go back to the episode right when Etta died, and she was remembering, and interestingly enough, when you pause it and go slow, they never showed the blanket in that particular scene right before Windmark shoots her, so... interesting. I don't know if it's a red herring, if it means anything or it means nothing, but I wish we had more episodes. I'm really panicking that the show is going to end soon. Love you guys. You have a great podcast. I really enjoy it, and keep up the good work. Speak to you soon.
All right, thanks for that. Good catch on the blanket.
Yeah, I don't know that we've really talked about that at all, really.
Zero discussion.
We didn't catch it. I think I first realized it when I read it on a blog post somewhere, or maybe somebody mentioned it on our comment section on our website. Yeah. But in Peter's flashback that we saw in the season premiere,
right,
he was wearing a gray shirt, khaki shorts, and Olivia was laying on a red plaid blanket.
Right.
In Olivia's flashback, which we saw the very next episode, which was the Recordist? Whichever the number 2 episode was this season, she's got the same top on in both flashbacks, but she's laying on a green plaid blanket. He's still wearing khaki shorts, but now he has on a brown shirt. So the blanket changed color and Peter's shirt changed color, depending on whose flashback we're getting. And
In Absentia was the second episode.
Oh, thank you. Yeah. It was in Absentia. And I saw someone ask Joel about it. I saw it on an interview somewhere, and he said that, obviously that was intentional. But whether it was, I don't know if we're ever going to get the answer. It might have just been two people having, slightly different recollections of the same event, which is, a pretty common thing.
Yeah.
But I don't know. Do you think it might be something more?
I don't know.
I don't know either.
I don't know what to say about that.
I mean, part of me says, well, one of them could be the past, one of them could be the future. But then in the future, I mean, there's still the bomb that goes off, or the antimatter or whatever, and the building disappears. So I don't know that I like that as a future either.
Maybe we get the reset. And her last memory was actually a vision of the future.
I don't know.
Could
Not
be.
sure.
We'll see.
I'm not sure.
Yep.
Yeah, she mentioned not too bright putting a tier 1 fugitive into a room full of stuff.
Yeah.
Obviously, these weren't the two of the brightest guys in the world anyway.
Not the sharpest tools in the shed.
Right.
A few Cracker Jacks short of a full box.
Uh-huh.
A few yards short of a field goal.
Sure. Is that a sports analogy you just used?
Maybe.
Huh. Interesting. All right. Thank you, Eileen, for calling in. Anything else on her?
I don't think so. Thank you very much, though, for calling in.
All right. Let's move on to Foamy Once.
Hey, Clinton, Daryl, and all you loyal and spoiled Fringe fans. This is Emily, a.k.a. Foamy Once, calling in about the humankind. Each new episode brings me further along this mind-bending trajectory of loving and understanding the heart of what is going on in this season. I mentioned in the last podcast that I'm a fan of how little information we get because so much of life is about intuition and learning throughout the course of time. The answers we got this week fell right into that mold for me. Everything from Olivia and the insight bomb Simone dropped to Peter and Windmark affecting each other's timelines, and most importantly to me, to Walter and Astrid studying the effects of the invader tech on the brain. In light of the data they extrapolated, the contrast is clear. If you become like them, it will destroy you. Now, either the Baldies were even less human when they originally inserted the tech, or the tech just didn't have time to permeate all the facets of Peter's brain, but the emotional side of him was still able to bleed through, and that is a fact that we have been counting on throughout this entire series. The significance of the episode title runs very deep. We are in the midst of witnessing how humans are able to overcome obstacles despite the odds and despite their losses. It was curious to me that Peter called Olivia and Walter to warn them not to return to Etta's apartment because it was such a human thing to do. His mission of vengeance is so riddled in emotion that his actions alone are contradictory. The infrastructure of his plan is rooted solely in the logic of the Baldi tech, but it was initiated and continues to be fueled ferociously by Etta's indelible mark on Peter. This duality has got to be the reason Peter was so susceptible to Olivia in the final scene. The fact that the images tied to memories and emotions of Peter's past were able to breach the feeling barricade the tech put up within his brain. But the imagery alone wasn't enough. It was absolutely necessary that Olivia was there to keep the onslaught of images coming, for him to remember. It was Olivia who brought him back into the fold in Season 4, and it is she who has the influence to do it again. Ultimately, it was the emotional connection he made with all of the memories that permitted him to violate the logic of the tech, and he did so in favor of love and the opportunity to experience vengeance with the others. The entirety of this episode was drenched in irony, and each step along the way I was just fascinated to see the incredible intricacy of it all. It is so exciting to see how each week not only gives us another element to the device Walter intends to build, but what trials our team is required to overcome so that they are prepared for the finality of the matter. Thanks again for all the work you two do every week for our favorite show. The fans appreciate you, and I appreciate you. This is Foamy Once saying, Foamy once, shame on you. Foam me twice, and we're all probably going to die.
All right. Thanks, Emily. Did she say flavor of love in there?
Did she?
That's what I heard.
I don't know.
Oh, must have been favor of love.
Like Flavor Flav?
Yeah, boy!
Wow.
Yeah, we took a completely intelligent, well thought out comment and completely destroyed it with our terrible joke.
And it took us all of, 10 seconds to do
Yes.
that? That's a new record.
Yep. Thanks, guys.
You know, Emily, I think I said last time, she should just come sit in my chair. I'll go, play out in the street. She's so much more articulate and intelligent than I am. I love her insight. She talked about, the love conquering all humanity, overcoming obstacles.
Yeah, the fact that the memories that had emotion tied to them were able to break the barrier caused by the tech.
Uh-huh. That's right.
Totally true, but really well articulated.
Yeah.
Yep.
And pushing back to, again, the episode of the plateau, Milo's sister had the little horse, and she would show it to him, and he would have an emotional reaction, but he wasn't able to overcome that and attach back to the emotion, and he ended up not being able to be saved partially because of that. He wasn't able to come back.
Yeah.
Peter was.
Yeah.
Yep. All right. Thank you so much, Emily, for sending that in. Good stuff as always. All right. We're going to read some. You want to go first? Shall I go first?
Yes.
All right.
Hold on. No. I'm under your tricks, Daryl.
No. If I go first, I get the long one.
The really long one?
Yes. That's the third one. I would take first and third. How's that?
All right.
This one comes in from Andy. Andy K says, "Is Peter also Windmark?" And this came in before this week's episode. But he says, "Windmark also being an anagram for warm kind. Could this be a clue that Peter has come back from the future to ensure he steers his current self onto the right course? Anyway, love the podcast. Actually, love the podcast. Be interested in your thoughts on this." And that comes in from Andy K. Is Peter Windmark?
And I would say after this episode, no. I probably would have said plausible.
Yeah.
Up until we got to this episode.
I don't think so either. And I warm kind is a cool anagram, but I think that's stretching a little bit. I wonder what Andy's opinion is after this episode too, especially since Peter doesn't seem to be heading down that path anymore. So I'm going to say no as well.
All right. This one comes in from Cy in Washington. He says, "I've been doing my own
Cy?
Cy? SAI, not PSY.
Oh, you could actually tell that was Gangnam Style that I was trying to do there. It's terrible.
All right.
Different Cy. Okay.
I've been doing my own Fringe rewatch after cashing in on Black Friday sales on all 4 seasons.
Yes.
I'm wondering if the Donald referred to by the observers in the season 2 episode August is the same Donald helping Walter, which we've talked a little bit about. This episode strongly implied that the observers had normal humans or people with the appearance of normal humans working for them. Perhaps September called on this Donald to help with Walter, similar to how December called upon him to correct August's mistake. Just another theory to add to the pile. Cy from Washington State, not to be confused with the other Washington or the other Cy. Keep it nerdy.
Yeah, we have addressed the Donald issue a couple of times, but we still continue to get quite a few comments on it. So that's why I put it in here again. So is Donald from that episode, the episode August, who was the kind of the assassin, is this the same Donald?
I don't think so. And the reason I say that is because the guy in the video, which I assume was Donald.
Yes.
Was, can I say skinnier?
You can say skinnier. That's an acceptable word.
He was a skinnier person. The Donald, who was the assassin in August.
A big guy.
A little less skinny.
Yeah.
I don't think he probably would have lasted.
Well, and there's also
years.
the question of, is Donald still alive, the Donald that helped August? I mean, yeah, that was an old timeline, but August, I mean, that's right. This is a tough question. Is August still dead, even though they reset the timeline? I would say that August is still dead,
yes,
but Donald has a chance of still being alive. Both of them died in that episode.
Mm-hmm.
But I still say it's a different Donald.
Yeah. It looked like they cast, spoiler alert, Chris Christopherson to play Donald.
I don't know.
I'm serious.
That. Are you serious?
One of the old highwaymen?
Yeah.
Didn't it look like Chris Christopherson?
I don't know. I mean, I know what he looks like, but I don't know where you've gotten that good of a look at Donald.
It was in the promo for next week.
Oh, I didn't pay attention. All right. Let's see. This one comes in from Kyle. Kyle says, this is talking about the last podcast. This came in again before last night's episode. I really liked Clint's suggestion on the latest podcast that the observers were sent back in time to collate data for their predictions. I started thinking about some other things and how they relate and came up with an overall theory on how everything fits together, some of which is inspired by Clint's theory, others not. All right, you listen to this, Clint?
Yep.
The monthly observers were sent back in time to gather data just like Clint suggested. September was one of them, obviously. September is also the boy from Inner Child. As a child, he developed his bond with Peter and Olivia, but as he grew up to be a big boy observer, that was driven out of him.
Liking this so far.
Or more specifically, he might have had those memories taken from him so that he doesn't remember it at all. There were still trace memories of it, which would explain why he did things he shouldn't have, like rescue Peter and Walter when they fell in the lake. But he had no conscious knowledge of it. Then when the child drove past September and he saw them, it all clicked, and he remembered everything. That's why he had that look on his face when it happened. This is also when he went rogue and wanted to help humankind, or at least the Fringe team. But if the observers are so darn smart, then why would they send September back knowing that this could or even would happen? Because they wanted it to happen. Gathering data was only part of their purpose. The other purpose was manipulating events to getting exactly where they want it to be right now, and they had everything planned down to the detail, including September's involvement with the bishops. Or they just knew it would happen.
I think if we can pause there for just a second.
Sure.
I like that idea. I really do. Because, we saw Peter doing these little nuanced things this week to get Windmark on the right timeline.
Uh-huh.
The observers could have been, quote, observing, but also tweaking these little things.
Right.
To get everything set up for their big invasion.
Absolutely, they could have.
Cool.
Yep. Kyle goes on to say, the reason they want it to be like this right now is because Peter is the first observer. The observer tech is cyclical, just like the machine. The Fringe team uncovered the machine and then sent it back in time to be uncovered by them again. Who created it? It's a loop with no real creator. The same with the observer tech. Peter steals it and becomes the first observer, and the tech is derived from that, creating the observer tech all over again so that Peter can steal it and start the cycle all over again. I love that whole time loop thing. It's why my favorite Terminator movie is the first one, and I loved 12 Monkeys. This is why the observers chose this particular time to arrive to. It's possible Etta wasn't even fooling them all the time before. They just had to keep her around so that when she died, Peter would get upset enough to take the observer tech, so they let her think she was outsmarting them. That's kind of an interesting theory.
Mm-hmm.
It would also explain why we thought she had cortexiphan abilities before she still died. She didn't really have anything special. They just wanted her alive, so they let her get away with it. And the Etta posters? Put up by Windmark to serve as a reminder to Peter to get him focused and angry. It's why the posters aren't bothering them at all. It explains the smirk. I think it explains everything, which means it's probably not true, but I'll throw it out anyway to see what you think. And then he says, and I know that in order to get read on the air, I have to disagree with Clint. And this whole email began by agreeing with something Clint said and dragging it out from there. Well, in your podcast on the latest episode, they were filled with David Bowie references, and Clint made a comment about Peter being under pressure and didn't even hint at singing. I disagree with that decision vehemently. Kyle.
Oh, man. Yeah, you didn't even catch all my David Bowie references last week.
Guess I wasn't paying attention because I should have caught them, but I wasn't paying attention evidently.
That's okay.
So what do you think, Clint?
I like
off
it.
of something
Goodness.
you said?
Yeah. That's it. I mean, he just did a much better job of articulating it.
Yeah.
And fleshing it out, but yeah, I like it.
I mean, with this obviously came in before this episode, but with the fact that Peter has taken the tech out of his neck, I mean, a lot of this doesn't seem likely anymore.
You mean Peter being the first observer?
That's right. That's exactly what I mean.
I still hold out the possibility that he's done some irreversible damage.
Okay.
And that there is going to be an effort to try and pull him back in. Ultimately, that effort's going to fail. And he has to... His last emotional thing is to sacrifice himself for Olivia and Walter or something like that. I don't know.
Yeah.
We'll see.
Yeah, it's possible.
All right.
I love the theory, though. Thank you,
Yeah, it's a
Kyle,
great
for sending
theory.
that in.
All right, this one comes in from Oliver. Oliver says, I found your podcast on iTunes sometime last year when Season 4 Fringe aired here in Germany. Unfortunately, I won't be able to see Season 5 until spring next year, which means I cannot listen to the newest episodes of the Fringe Podcast without getting spoilered. However, I wanted to congratulate you on the swell job you do, and I hope that you'll keep going for a while after the show wraps up. And who knows, maybe we'll see a Fringe movie after all, so keep up the good work. Looking forward to hearing this email read out loud when I listen to your Season 5 episodes sometime next year. Stay on the Fringe, Oliver. So we'll be long off the air by the time he hears this.
Yeah, I don't know that we'll be doing much after the show wraps up. I mean, there's a chance that we might do a interview or something, but probably within a month of when Fringe goes off the air, that our podcast will also be off the air.
Dunskies.
Yeah.
You never know.
You never know. I mean, we might do a
Recap.
Yeah, like
1 year later.
Exactly what I was thinking. Yeah, something like that.
2 year later. 15-year reunion podcast.
Clint still has the same mullet.
Daryl's
bomber jacket.
Daryl's still singing Soul Magnets.
That's right. Soul Magnets! Thanks, Oliver, for listening, and hope you enjoy hearing your email whenever you get around to listening to this episode.
That's true.
All right, let's get back to the audio with Jenny in California. Jenny.
Hey guys, this is Jenny in San Diego. Just calling in with no real theories, just a lot of praise for the episode. I've watched it a good 3 times now, in full almost, and I've seen the last 5 minutes multiple times, and trying to get all the image captures of all the flashes that Peter was having. It just was great. I mean, I really think that this was just Joel's love letter to the Olivia shippers out there. I mean, who could ask for more? Family wins, yay! Love wins, yay! That's really it. It was a great show, and I'm so glad that this whole Peter being the observer thing got wrapped up very quickly. And that's been the pace of this season. Everything's been boom, 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 boom. And I love it. And it's kind of like why I like series on Showtime or series on other networks, because they do have, they don't have the 22 episode arc for a season. They have 13, maybe 16. And I love that format. I think that you can get so much more in, and you don't have blow-off episodes, and we are definitely not getting that. And the reason why I have no theories for the rest of the season is because it's just they keep coming at us quick fire with one thing after another, and it's just wide open. I've seen a little bit of spoilery stuff out there that I'm trying to really ignore, but I'm trying to pose no theories. I'm just trying to ride the wave and really enjoy it. And that's about it, guys. Take care. Good night.
Okay, so a few things there.
Mm-hmm.
She's loving the season. It's so interesting to hear her, because, I'm watching the chat room as she's talking, and we're getting almost the opposite in the chat room.
Well,
right now
we've got people on both sides.
We do.
Yeah.
I do. But what I'm seeing in the chat room right now is the other side of that. And there's definitely a dialogue going on there.
Yes, there is.
Yeah, I'm falling more on her side than I am with some that are in the chat room right now. I understand their point, because there's some things you look for in a show and some things that you like more, and if you're not getting those or feel like you're not getting those, then you're certainly going to be disappointed.
Yeah, I agree. I started out that way
Uh-huh.
at the beginning of the season. I was really down on the show. I'm not right now.
Yeah, I'm not either. But, because the Observer storyline is something that I've been anticipating for a while. They've always, since day one in the credits, Observers are here. I mean, that kind of, in my mind, told us from the very beginning that this was coming.
Yeah.
And so now it's the fruition of that little Easter egg. But she also talked about the shorter seasons, the 13, 15 episode seasons. I'm a big fan of that too.
Me
I
too.
wish all television would move to that. It would be cheaper.
Yeah.
It would allow actors to pursue more than one project at a time.
Sure.
It would cut out fluff.
Sure.
And it would allow people to be committed to a show for a shorter period of time and probably help ratings at that point too, and probably with revenue. The network's trying to get revenue.
Yeah. I can certainly see that for a serialized show.
Yeah.
Like a drama show, right?
Okay. As opposed to a comedy or something?
I mean, you take something like The Office.
Yeah.
Or Big Bang Theory. I mean, the 13 episodes of Big Bang Theory is half of the Big Bang Theory that you would normally get. Right?
Yeah. Yeah.
Whereas 13 episodes of a show like Breaking Bad, or 12 episodes or 8 episodes, as they did this last season, that's the entire story you would have gotten in a season, action-packed, condensed into 8 episodes.
Yeah, but Big Bang Theory is the exception. I mean, there are other shows out there
I don't think it is.
that are in that genre that...
So, name one sitcom that would benefit from a shorter season.
I think all of them would.
No.
I think that Big Bang benefits from being one of the most popular shows on television, so people are going to tune in no matter what.
Well, I'm just saying in any sitcom, there's not... I mean, you're not looking for the character development necessarily.
No.
Although there is, there's relationships and stuff that happens. That's really filler. It's setting up a situation so you get the comedy, right? It's a situation comedy.
No question. I'm not saying that the dynamic of the show is different. What I'm saying is that you don't have to worry about audience participation or audience engagement for that length of time. And a show like Big Bang has such a huge audience that, the CBS probably wants to do 40 episodes a season of that. But most shows are struggling right now. And so if you only have to keep an audience engaged for 15 weeks out of the year, then you can put another show in its place with a different engagement.
I completely disagree with you.
Okay. It's fine.
And the reason for that is the only show that works for is something that is serialized. Usually drama. I mean, it could be science fiction, right? But
right.
Or drama, right? So Revolution, I think that would work.
Sure.
You could condense all the stuff. But you take a show like Law and Order.
Right.
You're going to get half of the Law and Order cases out of a year.
So?
Which, as an audience member... I mean, wouldn't you rather get double the cases?
Absolutely, but that's only if you're like truly into that show. And maybe I don't watch that show, so the point I'm trying to make is that most shows are struggling to find an audience right now. And if you don't have these shows that are as long, your expense in the show isn't tied up as long.
But then from a network perspective, see, I completely disagree with you here. From a network perspective,
yeah,
you have double the expense because you have to go out and promote a new show to fill up the air, right? That takes up the other half of the season. You don't have the audience familiarity, so you have to go promote it. You have to build sets for a different show. You have to hire your actors for a different show. I mean, it's a completely different model.
Yeah.
And you kind of have to do one or the other. But I think for drama shows, shows where there's actually a plot that moves forward every week.
Right.
Certainly that's the case. But for situation comedies, for procedurals, cop shows, things like that, there's no benefit in doing that, but there is a huge detriment, in my opinion.
Okay. I see your point there. But I guess I'm just a big fan of the shorter season. I loved it when Lost went to it.
Serial show.
I understand your point.
Dexter, same thing.
Yeah.
Game of Thrones, same
Right.
thing. Mad Men, same thing.
Yeah.
Mad Men's kind of a hybrid. Breaking Bad,
Right.
Walking Dead,
Right.
all good shows, all serialized dramas.
Okay. All right.
That's my opinion,
Okay.
and I'm sticking to it.
I'll let you win that one.
Yes.
Okay, let's
Yes.
move on.
Did I win?
Yes.
Yes.
Let's move on to Keegan. Thank you, Jenny, by the way.
Yes.
Hi, this is Keegan from New Mexico, calling for the Fringe Podcast. I just wanted to call in and talk about something a little bit different that I don't know if anybody's brought up, and probably not expecting me to bring up, but I'm going to. I just wanted to mention and really just thank the producers of the show for finally letting Anna Torv wear jeans, finally. You know, she's always wearing all those work clothes and being all super professional throughout the series. And finally we're getting a little more, you know, laid back. Anna Torv, laid back Olivia. And I don't know about attitude, but in terms of clothing. And I just wanted to say this episode, you know, getting the jacket off, getting a little dirty, going crazy on those dudes. It's good stuff, man. You know, I love this show, and I love the character Olivia. Anna Torv's great. I love everybody else, but it's fun to call in about that because if you look back at all the other seasons, you know, she's dressing totally different, and it's a nice change. That's all I wanted to say. So you're either laughing at this or thinking, oh, man, this guy's crazy, which is probably true. Both are probably true. So anyways, thank you guys. Keep up the good work. I can't wait each and every week for the next podcast, and same goes this week. So stay Fringe-tastic, and I'm out.
All right. Well, thanks, Keegan. I got to admit, when I first listened to the feedback the first time, I thought, I don't know if I'm going to be able to play this on the podcast or not. I don't know where he's going with this. He starts talking about how glad he is that Anna Torv's wearing jeans and stuff, but it is definitely cool to see her dressing differently in terms of she was always this, you know,
That's
proper,
true.
you know, kind of uptight.
Well, she always wore black and grays, right?
That's exactly right. So, you know, Keegan didn't really go down the road of talking about how, you know, physically attractive Anna is and stuff like that. So that's why I went ahead and kept it on the podcast, because that's not something that we've ever really tried to a road we've ever gone down. But it definitely shows just one of the differences in this season. I mean, formality is out the window. An organized, you know, crime team is out the window.
Yes,
you know?
we're back to MacGyver, right?
That's right. She'll have a mullet next week. It's going to be great.
Dun 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 dun
All right.
Bum.
Yeah, they're commenting in the chat room now that she wore jeans, you know, often. That's not to say that she didn't wear jeans before, but this is a completely different look than we've seen from her before. With the, you know, the zipper-up leather jacket. She was mostly in, you know, slacks.
Yeah, black.
White shirt.
Black pea coat.
Yeah.
That was kind of her normal thing.
Yeah.
With her hair flat and straight.
Right.
She had a little bit of volume to her hair. She's been using Vidal Sassoon products this week.
Is that what it is?
Yeah.
You know, anyway, I appreciate the feedback, Keegan. All right, let's move on to Mike in, I think, New Jersey.
Hi, this is Mike from New Jersey calling for the Fringe Podcast. I am new to the podcast. I'm getting into you guys very late in the game, but I'm not new to Fringe. I've been watching since the first season. All right, so let's get into it. I know everybody's got their theories about how this series is going to play out. I'm certainly one of them, which brings us to last night's episode and the ending of the episode, which... on the one hand, it was a great ending. It was very emotional. It had a lot of the things that we love about Fringe. It was a great character moment between Olivia and Peter. It was very heartfelt. Great acting. And so on one level, it was tremendously enjoyable to watch. But on the other side of that, you have the fact that it just wasn't earned. That moment came way too soon. And it leaves, I think, not just me, but probably other fans with some of the same issues that people have been having with this season in general. In other words, if you're going to start the storyline of Peter becoming an observer, what was the point of doing that if you were going to drop it just as quickly? You know, I think a lot of people felt the same way about how quickly Etta was killed off. And there have been other issues with the season as well. There have been a lot of things where you've really had to suspend your disbelief to the breaking point. And I think that it gets harder and harder. You know, we all have this great love for Fringe, right? So you want to give the benefit of the doubt. You want to believe that the writers are going to pull a rabbit out of their hat before this is all over that makes you think that this all worked somehow or pulls it all together. But so you tend to be generous, I think, to the writers for that. But at the same time, it does get. I have to say that last night's episode in particular, with the way it ended, made it very hard for me to keep doing that. I just think that they dropped the ball on a story that they began and ended just way too soon. But I guess we'll see. There's still time, right, for them to pull that rabbit out. And I'll be listening to the podcast as the series winds down all too quickly. Thanks a lot. Bye-bye.
So what do you think, Clint?
Cheeseburger?
No, I mean about what Mike was saying.
Oh, yeah. Okay. I can see his point. It wasn't really earned, right? There was a large amount of suspending your disbelief. I agree with those points. The point that I don't agree with is that it was a waste of time for Peter to become an observer.
Right.
Because, for two reasons. First of all, I think Peter had to get down the path and come to the point of no return in the same place that Walter was to show that he's a different person.
Okay.
It's first. Second of all, you know, from a mythology standpoint, we learned a whole lot about how the observers operate based on watching Peter go through the whole thing.
Right.
So, in my mind, that was worth it.
Okay.
To me.
Yeah, and for me, I mean, I'll go back to what I said in the last podcast where it showed us how two people faced with the same situation, Peter and Olivia, you know, took two different paths to get there. And Peter took a dark path of destruction and, you know, almost wasn't able to recover from it. You know, fortunately, it looks like Olivia was able to pull him out of that path. And so I think it was earned because, you know, we were all rooting for Peter. I think we were all rooting for Peter not to become an observer. You know, I mean, if Peter had continued down that path and become a full-on observer, would anybody have been happy or satisfied with that? You know, and so we were all fearful of that. He was at almost the point of no return when we got that, you know, this episode where they didn't know if how much longer he was going to be able to keep the tech in his head and be able to come out of it. And so, I loved it. You know, I love the exchange of the tech for the bullet, you know, but Mike's certainly not alone with his point of view. And we've got, you know, folks in the live show today who are very much in the same opinion. So
yeah,
I'm not going to invalidate it. It's just not one that I share. Okay.
All right.
Yeah. But Mike, thank you for calling in. Hope to hear from you again. And really interesting to see, you know, as it does continue on and we get to see the story, you know, wrapped up. We've got 5 episodes left, right? I mean, if your opinion changes, or you know, there will be people at the end of the series that won't be satisfied, and Mike might be one of those. And we'd love to hear from you again as this goes on, because your opinion is so different from the one that seems like both of us have. At least I have.
Right.
We'd love to hear from you, you know, each week, and you know, let us know how you're progressing with your opinion as the show is progressing. Okay. We've got one more, and this one comes in from Ryan.
Hey, Clint and Daryl, this is Ryan from Iowa. I'm actually a different Ryan from Iowa, but I've had a couple theories that have been percolating for a month or so, and this week's episode, the humankind, helped solidify some things for me, so here goes. This far, we made the assumption that Etta, because she died, she wasn't special. She didn't inherit her mom's cortexiphan abilities. I would suggest that isn't the case. We know from Season 3's episode Subject 13 that as a child, Olivia accidentally crosses over to the other universe and tips off Walter. She did this out of fear of her stepfather. We also know that her heightened emotions are the key to enabling and even controlling Olivia's abilities. So fast forward to this week's episode. We met Simone. She was the keeper of the magnet. She also appears to have an ability of sorts. She called it a gift, She can read people, read their emotions. This was apparently something her mother could do as well. So, with all this known, I would posit 3 things. 1. Simone's mother was a cortexiphan subject and received an ability as part of her treatment. This gift was then transferred to Simone. 2. Based on this somewhat speculative assumption, this means that Etta also probably received her mother's ability. She just didn't know it. 3. At her heightened emotional state just prior to the antimatter bomb going off, Etta unwittingly crossed over to the other universe. I realize this is a complete long shot, and I'm probably rehashing things from several episodes back, but I just don't think Etta was brought into the story to be taken out so quickly. I think she still has a part to play other than just being a quote-unquote poster child. Well, that's my crackpot theory. I wouldn't bet a junior on it or anything. Thanks, guys. I really enjoy your podcast. This is Ryan, the other Ryan from Iowa, saying I'd rather be read by an observer than be dead.
That's good.
Nice.
So Ryan brought his A game with that. So
No kidding.
I wonder, he's not willing to put a junior on it, but is he willing to put a banana on it? That's really the question.
I don't know. I hope so.
He kind of had the same thought that it was our first caller, right? It was
first
it was Chip. About the cortexiphan kid. About Simone being the child of a cortexiphan
That's right.
kid.
Yep.
And having some inherited abilities because of that.
Yep.
But he added in the other layer of Etta zapping over to the Redverse at the just prior to death, just like Olivia has been known to do. And if she did she die there laying in the middle of a building, or was somebody there to save her? It would be the next question. I think he's implying that she's still alive over there in the Redverse. What say you,
Did we
Clint?
see her dead body? I don't think we did, right?
Well, no, the whole thing got antimatter bombed.
Got antimatter bombed.
Oh, and he came up with a new word, too. I wrote it down. Cortexiphanated.
Cortexiphanated.
Yeah.
I like it.
What do you think?
I think she's gone, man.
Yeah?
I think you just got to give up the ghost on Etta.
Hey, we saw Seth Gable at the finale party.
She could be back in an LSD-induced trance this week, but...
Yeah, that's true. Yeah.
But I'm going to guess not.
Yeah. I'm thinking she's dead, too.
Okay.
And I'm okay with that.
Yep.
But I do love the theory.
Yep.
And if it turns out to be true, I'm not sure what that means to the story, but we'll see how that plays out. I mean, if it is their daughter and she is alive and there's not a reset and stuff like that, I think I would actually be okay with that.
Okay.
I don't want the reset. We've said that for a long time now. So, okay.
She'll come back as Henry. That's funny. That's real funny.
She'll come back. It'll be a Walking Dead crossover.
She'll be zombie.
No, that's right.
Okay.
Yep. All right, guys. Thanks for everybody who sent in feedback for this week's podcast. If you would like to send in your feedback for the Fringe Podcast, you can call us on the Golden Spiral Media voice feedback line. It's up 24/7 and always open for you to leave your voicemail, and that is at area code 304-837-2278. You can also email us an audio file or typey out an email over at feedback@thefringepodcast.com. You can also do what Eileen did, go over to our website, thefringepodcast.com, and click on the Leave Feedback, Voice Feedback tab kind of hanging out there on the right-hand side of the page. That'll open up our SpeakPipe app, and you can use your computer microphone to leave us voice feedback. All right, man, you ready for some twinge?
Let's do it.
Ba-da-da-da-ba.
All right, this question comes in from me. It's, what will the consequences of Peter's actions be?
Yeah.
I hope that was vague enough that it wasn't too spoilery.
Yeah, it was very vague.
And in fact, it may have been so vague that people had no idea what I was asking. But my question was, he put the tech in and took it out. Are there going to be any consequences of him taking it out where he needs that ability and doesn't have it?
Okay.
Or that he's now got this ability and his emotions will eventually get squeezed out because he's progressing down this evolutionary...
The damage has already been done.
Yeah.
Okay. I took it as the former part of that. What you just... He took it out. Does that foil anything?
Yeah.
Or
Will he will he be able to regain some of his emotions?
Okay.
Now,
Yeah.
is his hair still going to fall out? I don't know. All right. The first response comes in from Lou Ferrigno on Twitter. He says, "My guess, he has now planted the seed in Walter to take the place in what he was doing."
Well, that was certainly interesting, right? When he said that, Walter would love this or whatever he said. Walter has the tech. There are two
Right.
pieces of tech. I don't think so, though.
Walter might use both of them.
Yeah, right.
Crazy drug trip. Let's see. AJ Blois, I think that's how you say that. Says, wondering if Peter now has enough observer upgrades to bring all the pieces of the plan in Walter's head into order. It's interesting. Little Fringy says he won't go bald. He'll have feelings again and be closer with Olivia, and Walter has a better chance to save him, to save the man he has become. Etta Poster of Pie says, well, now that Peter doesn't know Kung Fu anymore, they have no way of defeating the observers. So much for the happy ending that everyone was hoping for. Isn't it ironic that love ended up dooming them all?
I don't see that at all.
I couldn't agree less with that statement.
I mean, they have Peter back, and they still have the machine. They're still assembling parts of, not the machine, but, whatever the September's plan is.
Yeah, this was kind of a plan B, root around plan, right?
That Peter was doing.
Yeah, they still have the plan.
Right, exactly.
To not just get one observer.
And now we don't have a Peter observer out there, so
that's right.
There's hope for Peter and Olivia to still have a life together.
Future.
Yeah.
New babies.
Yeah.
New babies.
Some procreating and all that fun stuff.
Yeah, new humanity babies.
Right. A new kind of human. A better human being.
The humankind?
Yes.
Yeah. All right. Outro HDE. I have no idea how to say that. Alt Road, I think is the way to say it. Alt Road.
Okay.
Alt Road.
Alt Road.
Alt Road. Man, I'm really having issues. Love always allows Peter to lose his battle and win the war, but I fear what Walter might do with the tech. Man, that's a common thing. All right.
Well,
Kenilworth, 23, huh?
That's right.
Huh?
Which is Chip in sunny Pine Knoll Shores, North Carolina.
That's right. Paraphrasing Yoda in The Empire Strikes Back, always emotion is the future. Peter and Olivia's love, plus Walter and Astrid's, will win. Love conquers all. Come Acapulco says, I'm not sure, but I can't wait to find out. Yogobon says, September's group will form. Go back in time trying to understand how love defeated them. This is the loop.
That's interesting.
Yeah. This is really interesting. Verbank says, Peter will let Etta back into his heart now that he's removed the tech from his brain. Oh, that's sweet. No One's Minion says, that wasn't a move that Windmark is expecting, giving them the advantage. Now they know how observers work, plus the residual effects for Peter.
Okay.
Captain Trips 42 says, some sweet, sweet lovin'. That's the consequences of his action.
That's a definite possibility.
Season Zine says, we'll get our happy ending, darn it.
All right.
Which I like. And finally, yeah, thank you. Zeppelin Driver says, Peter's tech removal should make the shippers happy, but stops his observer spying. Now it shifts back to Walter's plan.
Yep. That is now their only hope.
That is.
And the dove.
It's a new hope.
A.K.A. the return of September.
All right. So if you liked chewing on some of that twinge action, you can follow us on Twitter at GSM Podcasts.
That's right.
Saturday afternoon, usually around noonish Central Time. Sometime a little earlier.
Sometimes a little later.
Most of the time a little later. Look for the question, as always, as it's been for the last 4 years, although I forgot to put it off the first time this week. Put it on the first time.
Okay.
Reply to TFP Twinge.
TFP Twinge, yeah.
That's right. That's it.
Yep. Look
Feedback.
hopefully by the time this hits the feed, we'll have some information out on the website about the finale party.
It's true.
So if you're listening to this, go over to the website. Hopefully you'll see something right up there at the top about the finale party. Clint just threw some tape at the camera. You're a terrible shot.
No kidding.
So yeah, that's it.
That is it. Feedback. If you'd like to leave us some feedback on this or any other Fringe episode, you can call us at 304-837-2278. That's 304-TFP-CAST. You can email us, preferably audio, but also any kind of feedback at feedback@thefringepodcast.com, or you can use our half pipe,
Speak pipe,
smoke pipe, weed pipe. What's it called?
Speak pipe.
LSD pipe?
Yes.
Okay. On the website at thefringepodcast.com. You can follow us on Facebook at facebook.com/your mother's angry clown nose.
Okay.
No, that's not it. What is it, Daryl?
What
Golden Spiral Media, Facebook.
Yes, facebook.com.
You can also find us on SoundCloud at soundcloud.com/Golden Spiral Media.
Yeah.
Friendster, we've had to unfortunately lose our
MySpace mockery.
Our Friendster page.
Yeah. MySpace is coming back.
Due to privacy issues. I'll believe it when I see it.
All right, guys. Thanks
That's it.
for joining us for this episode. And until next time, you know what? One other thing. If you haven't joined us for the live show, we do it Sundays. We haven't mentioned this in a long time. Every Sunday at 2 p.m. Eastern over at thefringepodcast.com/chat. And that's also the same place we do the live chat Friday nights while Fringe is on the air. So come join us. We only have a few of those left, so come join the fun.
That's right. I will say that the one in December 23rd,
yes,
which is the day before Christmas,
right,
may not happen on that day at the exact time.
That's right.
We're still working out the details.
Yeah, we'll work that out. I'm glad I meant to mention that in the Fringe binge in the last podcast.
Yep.
All right, guys. Thanks for joining us. And until next time, stay Fringe-tastic.
And keep it nerdy.
The Fringe Podcast and Golden Spiral Media are not associated with Bad Robot Productions, Warner Brothers, or Fox. Golden Spiral Media's use of any and all copyrighted material is only for parody, news analysis, critique, or educational purposes as provided within United States Code Title 17, aka Fair Use. For advertising opportunities, our live show, and other Golden Spiral Media podcast productions, visit goldenspiralmedia.com. Copyright 2012, Golden Spiral Media.